Welcome to Stonewatch. Today we're talking about Confess, Fletch. If you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell so you can notify if your future fails. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, I was finally able to sit down and check out Confess, Fletch, starring Jon Hamm. Now I gotta say, I thought this movie was okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say this is like the best movie I ever saw, but it was funny. Had a lot of good funny moments in it. I think Jon Hamm was an awesome cast as the character Fletch, but I have to be honest with you, it's been quite some time since I've seen the movies from back in the 80s, so I don't really know how close to the character he actually was, to be quite honest with you. And then the fact that there was like almost 40 years time between those two movies and this movie, it kind of made it hard to believe it was the same guy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like it was like a continuous revolving thing with like in James Bond, like they just kept on going, you know, with a different actor, but the story kept on going. Well, there was like not really all that much time in between all those movies. So it kind of like felt believable. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, well, I thought Hamm was good in the role as Fletch, but I just really didn't see him as the same guy that I saw with the Chevy Chase movies. I'm just sorry. I mean, and then, you know, when this movie was originally released and you could like rent it for like 15, 20 bucks or something like that on VOD, I'm like, no, thank you. I will wait. I got burnt on renting Bill and Ted for like 20 bucks. I mean, it's just for myself, so it wasn't really worth. I mean, the movie was enjoyable, but I'm like, it wasn't worth renting for 20 bucks. I don't pay that money to see a movie when I go to the theater, if you don't count the popcorn and soda, right? If you just go by strictly ticket price, I'm cheap, so I always mainly go matinee, so I don't usually pay more than $8 when I go to see a movie. You know what I mean? Confess, Fletch is a 2022 American comedy film directed by Greg Mottola, who also co-wrote the screenplay with Zev Burrow, based on the Gregory McDonald's 1976 novel of the same name. It is also the third installment in the Fletch series, and the first one not to star Chevy Chase. The basic plot of the film is this. Erwin M. Fletcher, aka Fletch, is sent to Boston from Italy by his girlfriend Angela to recover her father's multi-million-dollar paintings, which are stolen and are in possession of an American art dealer named Roland Horan. Angela's father is an Italian billionaire who is kidnapped by the mob, who are demanding his paintings as ransom. Following the release of Fletch in 1985 and Fletch Lives in 1989, starring Chevy Chase, attempts to reboot the series based on the Gregory McDonald novels frequently became marred in development hell. Such names as Kevin Smith and Jason Lee, Bill Lawrence and Zach Braff, and Jason Sudeikis were previously attached to the property. In July 2020, it was reported that Jon Hamm would star in and produce an adaptation of the McDonald novel Confess, Fletch, with Greg Mottola attached to direct. In June 2021, Marcia Gay Harden, Kyle MacLachlan, Roy Wood Jr., and John Slattery joined the cast. Filming began in Boston of June of 28th of 2021, and in July of 2021, Aidan Mayeri, Lorenza Izzo, Annie Mumolo also joined the cast. As of July 7th of 2020, the film was spotted shooting scenes in Worcester. The film only had a 27-day shooting schedule, with Hamm and Mottola returned portion of their salaries in order to secure an additional 3 days of filming. Confess, Fletch had a limited theatrical release and was available on premium video demand on September 16th of 2022, before a Showtime premiere on October 28th of 2022. The film received generally positive reviews from the critics and fans. Starring in this movie, Jon Hamm, Lorenza Izzo, Marcia Gay Harden, Kyle MacLachlan, Aidan Mayeri, Annie Mumolo, Ron Wood Jr., and John Slattery, just to name a few. Now, currently, Confess, Fletch is sitting with a Rotten Tomato score of 86%, with 123 top critics reporting in. And now, a majority of those top critics really like this movie. Now, over on the audience side, we're sitting with a score of 75%. So, 3/4 of the 50,000 plus fans telling you what they think like this movie. Now, I fall into the category of the critics and the fans. I mean, this movie was enjoyable. It was a fun movie to watch. I mean, it was kind of funny to see him duck the cops and stuff like that, and I thought the banter between him and the detectives was actually pretty cool and pretty funny. And I mean, I kind of liked it. I thought that worked pretty good. I mean, throughout the whole movie, I thought it was kind of like one of my favorite parts of the movie, to be quite honest. Now, with a budget of $20 million and its total box office of $656,000, that's with a T, right, mind you, not They didn't even crack $1 million with this movie, but they also did release this on VOD the same day. That automatically killed its chance of getting a halfway decent box office. I'm not saying the same would have been like the greatest blockbuster of all damn time if they would have just stuck with a regular 30-day theatrical release first and then put it on VOD. You know what I'm saying? Because I probably would have paid money to go see this in the theater. I mean, this was at least worth matinee. You know, granted, I did wait for it to be available on my Paramount / Showtime subscription thing, and it just kind of happened to where I was like, oh, it's on there, cool, I can watch it, and I don't really have to pay for it because I already paid for the subscription. However, I would have seen this in the theater. I just didn't have a chance to, and I wasn't going to rent something at home for like $15-20 that I don't get to own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sorry, I'll rent a movie for like $5, but I'm not. No, I ain't doing $15-20. I already did it once, and you ain't get me again. But since this was a theatrical release and a VOD release the same day, I don't know what they're really going to determine on whether or not they actually do a fourth installment in this franchise. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because obviously it didn't really kill it at the box office, so you can't go by that. I don't know whether or not if it's really killing it in the views on Paramount Plus / Showtime, right? I mean, I just happened to look and notice that it was on there. I'm like, because I wanted to see this movie, and I looked it up for something to watch here over the holiday, and then I saw that it was on there. I'm like, all right, let's just have a script. So I sat there and I watched it, and like, I don't know, I mean, I would have paid theater price for it, but I waited for it to be on streaming, and it was all right. I mean, I wouldn't say I highly recommend it, but it is a fun movie. So if you have not seen this movie and you got this far into the video, thanks for watching. But I would recommend watching it if you already have the subscription to the streaming service that it's available on to watch. I mean, that's what I did, you know. So now here is a list of all the other streaming services and platforms that this thing is available to watch on. So whichever one you want to do, whichever one you have, recommend watching this movie. It's a fun little comedy type thing, whatever, you know. I mean, it doesn't, I can't really say it's like a sequel to the last two movies because it's so far from one point to the other. I don't believe it's the same dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the technology is different. I mean, the whole thing of the movie is just a totally different thing. However, and I don't know how many other books are in the series that this author has written, so I don't know really where they could go with the story. And seeing how it took them close to a little over 30 years just to get this movie made, I highly doubt we'll see a fourth one. But you never know, right? It could land on another streaming service on Amazon or something like that, and boom, here we go. Because it wasn't really that expensive movie, and they could probably shoot the fourth one even cheaper. You know what I mean? So did you watch the movie Confess, Fletch, starring John Hamm? Let me know in the comments down below. What'd you think? You think it was any good? Let me know in the comments down below. And did it feel like a sequel to the movies from the 80s? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, no. I mean, as much as like it's the same character, I did not feel like it was the same dude. I mean, because they didn't have cell phones in the Fletch ones, like that, and whatever, you know. So that there alone makes it different. Then there was like the internet and all that stuff on top of it. I mean, it doesn't even feel like the same time period. I mean, at all. So it's like, how could it really be a sequel? Anyway, it was a fun little movie. If you don't really try to dive into it, that's my fault because of the MCU. However, let me think in the comments down below.